Do you know that there's a limit to how much CPF you can invest? It's not the full balance, mind you. And the amount of CPF that you cannot invest is called the reserve amount, which I touched about in my previous video on why I regret topping up too much money into my CPF. And I got educated because in today's video, I'm gonna explain what is the reserve amount in CPF about and what are the limitations when you are trying to invest your CPF. Now, I know all these CPF terms may be too complicated for beginners to understand, so you can come to my public Telegram group at Honey Money SG to ask your questions, and maybe the experts there can help you. So join us at Honey Money SG. So recently, I published a video on why I regretted topping up too much to my CPF. And I know that will be a hit because I have always been the one advocating people to top up CPF. Well, in actual fact, I still hold that perspective that you should, but maybe you should prioritize the voluntary contribution to MediSave account and not on the retirement sum top up, because the optimal amount that you should do a retirement sum top up is only up to $15,000 in your 30s. And the reason is because your retirement sum top up amounts and its interest earned on this retirement sum top up or RSTU amount are all reserved. Now, what do I mean by reserve is that, simply speaking, reserve means that they cannot be invested, okay? And to some of you, maybe it's not a big deal. Why do I care whether it can be invested or not? But if you are pursuing CPF shielding at the age of 54, 55 level, then I would say that the reserve amount is highly important to you, because in the CPF shielding strategy, you want to invest as much as possible before you even turn 55. And in order to invest as much as possible, the less reserve funds you have, the more you can invest. Which means more can be shielded when you turn 55. And after 55, you can then unshield them by selling your SA investments, and those will go back to your special account, giving you a boosted special account like an ATM for you to withdraw anytime above the full retirement sum. Anyway, I thought I was educating others on the reserve amount, RSTU, all this stuff, right? I got educated at the same time because I didn't know this fact. Other than retirement sum top up and their interest, your OA to SA transfers from your spouse, your partner, your loved one are all reserve amount as well. And this was confirmed by two of my viewers' comments when one spouse actually transferred the ordinary account funds to the other spouse's special account, and that becomes a reserve amount. And I mean, that will make sense because as much as you want to hack CPF also know what you are doing one. So they don't want you to like reduce your own ordinary account funds to help other people build, and then the other person could use this OA and do CPF shielding. Where got so good one? So let's be very clear here, other than the retirement sum top up to special account and the interest, your OA transferred to SA for the loved ones will also be reserved, and this has been confirmed. Now, other than the special account reserve funds, do you know that your enhanced housing grants gotten from your HDB flats, whether it is resale or BTO, those are also reserve funds as well, which means that those cannot be invested. But it's not really a big amount, right? Because most people will get within the 20k range, and they will just use the enhanced housing grants on the deposits. But that is just for your info. So your enhanced housing grant is reserve amount as well in the OA. There is definitely a minimum reserve amount, and that will be 20,000 in your ordinary account and 40,000 in the special account. And that is in line with the minimum requirements before you can do any investments with your CPF. This is all part of the CPF investment scheme rule, whether you want to take out your ordinary account funds to invest in T-bills or unit trusts with robo-advisors like Endowers or Money Owl, you still have to keep at least 20,000. Remember, that is the reserve amount. Anyway, if you are still confused about what the whole reserve amount is and how to find out them, I'll talk about it in detail after a word from the sponsor. This may be the best April in the past few years because not only we have 2 public holidays in Singapore, but also you can win up to $500 by just depositing $1. Because this crazy company called Weibo decided to continue throwing away free money since they have extended their sign-up promotion till the end of April. How it works is that when you deposit any amount and hold that cash deposit for at least 30 days, you'll be entitled to 5 lucky spins, and each lucky spins will grant you from $10 to $100 of stocks from companies like Tesla, Apple, Microsoft or Google. And of course, there are no other complicated requirements like buying some number of trades, buying some mutual funds, all that complicated stuff. And it's really simple. So for those who have not taken action, this may be your final chance. So sign up for a Weibo account using the referral link down below or scan the QR code right here to get your Weibo account today. So to find your reserve amount, there are two ways. One is a CPF website. So you log in via SingPass, and below your 3 accounts, you can find this view your reserve amounts. Click on it and it will show you how much is reserved in your SA and how much is reserved in your OA. Now, if you're too lazy to log into the CPF website, you could also do it on your mobile app, but it requires a formula. So you log into your mobile app, scroll down to investments, and from there, you can find your investable amount. So the investable amount is the difference between your current SA balance minus the reserve amount, and that will be the investable balance. So for my example, it's very simple, right? My current SA balance is around $210,000, and my reserve amount will be $210,000 minus the $165,000 investable balance, which means my reserve amount is $45,000. And this will tally with what I have done on the retirement sum top up to my special account over the few years, because I have top up more than $40,000. So now it has accrued to over $45,000, which tallies. And I'll explain to you how do you find out your reserve amount by the age of 55. Now, assuming you are 35 years old, that means that you are currently 20 years away from the age of 55. And let's say you have done 2 rounds of retirement sum top up. Okay, so 2 rounds of $8,000, which is $16,000 in total RSTU at the age of 35. And assuming that you will not do any future retirement sum top up, your reserve amount at age 55 will be $16,000 multiplied by 1.04 to the power of 20 years. 1.04 means the interest rate compounded at 20 years, which is the power. And we will get to the total reserve amount to be $35,000. So you have less than $5,000 that you could do on the next RSTU before you exceed the $40,000 reserve amount. And for my own example, it's very simple, right? I talk about my total SA balance being $210,000, my investable amount is $165,000, and my reserve amount is $45,000. So like I said, I cannot do any more retirement sum top up anymore. And my current age is 31 going 32. So that's around 23 years to the age of 55. So I would take $45,000 multiplied by 1.04 to the power of 23, which gives me a total reserve amount of $111,000, which is $71,000 above the basic reserve amount of $40,000 in special account. Now, this is assuming that the CPF reserve amount rules did not change. So I have an additional $71,000 that is reserved, which I cannot shield. Pathetic. And this is why it's very important for you to understand what the reserve amount is. And hence, you can formulate your own retirement sum top-up strategy, because all these funds, if you are pursuing CPF shielding, they cannot be invested. They are reserve amounts, and that will eventually hinder how much you have in your future special account balances after 55, when the retirement account is already set up. Now, do know that I'm only talking about reserve amounts in the special account. Okay, in terms of the ordinary account, investable amount, reserve amount, all this, I'll refer you to my Invest CPF OA video, because I have much more details right here.